Welcome to the Great Lakes Smoke Podcast Show. What we talk about basically is the love and the passion of cigars, pipe smoking, tobacco, alcohol, brothers chilling out and having a good time, laughter.
Well, how else are you gonna, enjoy a nice bourbon?
And you kind of went animalistic on tobacco buying, haven't you?
And the Rocky Patel, pure and simple. I don't know, that thing just tastes so good.
Good aficionados, and welcome to another Great Lakes Podcast Show. Boy, do we have a fantastic lineup tonight for you guys. For all of you who've been watching the Facebook, I've been pushing it nice and hard, real strong. We got a lot of guests that are going to be coming on and talking to you about the world of cigars, pipes, tobacco, alcohol, and hopefully a lot of laughter, because we enjoy our laughter. And
maybe a little bit of what's happening in the world of the law regarding pipes, cigars, tobacco.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of talk in the law. But folks, this evening we want to thank you again for joining us. I'd like to introduce to us, because we really got a lot of newbies, guys.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of new people have jumped on board just this last couple of weeks, and they really don't know the routine yet. So these are the faces, basically my face, Ron Pecorini. My brother Bob Pecorini.
Bob, how you doing?
We got our brother Kyle Gesso behind the scenes. Got the social distancing. I mean, Bob's only lives across the street, like 25 feet from me. And he's doing all the tech work behind the scenes. And we got Cousin Frank, all the way from North Carolina. Yeah, he's definitely social distancing himself from us. And we have a lot of guests here. We also have a good friend of ours in studio tonight. We welcome the Kenosha Pipe Club himself, the president, the man who put it all together up there, Garrett Goldberg, coming in. And yes, and we'll be talking a lot of pipes after the cigar segment, folks. But tonight, special guests are the owners, the co-owners of Ace Prime Cigars. We have Luciano and Tiago joining us on hand. And shortly, we'll also have a representative of Crown Heads, Miguel, coming on, who's been in the industry for a very, very long time.
That's good.
Absolutely. So we'll see him pop on, and we'll talk to him at the time. But, we've been trying to get Luciano on here to show the people of deconstruction and construction.
Well, he's a very, very busy man, you know that. Yes. And for people who don't know about it, you can also watch his own show on Monday and Thursdays, where they talk about, again, cigars and the bowl, which is something we're going to get into once again for people who have not been familiar with it yet. It's a big thing. It's up and coming, and we'll get into it in a little while.
Absolutely. But I'd like to welcome aboard right now, folks. We'll start off with Mr. Luciano. How are you tonight?
Oh, we lost you. No audio, buddy.
We lost his audio.
There we go.
There you go. All right. Oh, that's Tiago Spliter, folks, the other co-host in his wonderful home on the East Coast, away from all this nonsense. How are you doing, Tiago?
I'm doing well. Thank you, guys. Great pleasure to be here in your program. And I hope we can talk a little bit about cigars and, and other stuff that are, great interest in the latest week and the latest news.
Definitely.
Fantastic. And yeah, we're going to pull some teeth from you.
How many hours a day are you staying on the court, though? You got to stay, quick.
Well, not in the court as much as I want, but, I've been doing my exercises and running and push-ups and stuff like that, just, keep in shape. But it's hard, man. It's hard. I can't wait to get back to the court and work out the guys.
Yeah, you can't let those young guys, mess you up. You got to show them how it is, The old saying, youth is wasted on the young. Remember that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So true.
That's good stuff. Luciano, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, my brother. Doing well. Just
Good.
I'm sorry about there's something going on with my audio, but now it seems to be working fine.
That's fine. You're
There you
coming in
go.
loud and clear.
Perfect for us.
Good to
Absolutely.
be here tonight. Good to be with you as always, and looking forward for some very interesting conversations.
Well, I
It's
see
been
you
a
more
very
now than ever
good week.
before, between Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays.
That's
You know.
right. That's right.
Well, that's good though.
Well,
So
I guess
yeah,
that's all basically due to the bulb and Ace Prime, along with your association with Crown Heads. So let's talk about that because I know that's hot and heavy for you. That's an incredible idea that you guys came up with. It's a super idea to keep the little guys in business, and
And keep you, the consumer, satisfied with product,
Yeah.
and
which is very important these days.
and a little bit less expensive than normal.
At a little discount, which is very good.
true.
So talk about that, you guys. You guys put this all together, or in a sense, along with Crown, and Miguel will jump on when he can. But how's that going? I mean, we know we talked 2 weeks ago,
But we have
and
new
the numbers
people,
are
so
incredible. Yes, we do have a lot
we
more
want to
people
keep them
on.
informed.
Yeah, it's doing well. We got about almost 600 stores that signed up. We have new clients every day, and we're very happy that on this upcoming June 1st, we'll be able to start issuing all the checks for the stores for the brick and mortar, and that's what we are very excited about. I
Awesome.
believe it's already a huge success. We are just growing and growing every day, and we are excited. This is not about us. This is not about Ace Prime or Crown Has. This is about actually the brick and mortar. Is about the mom and pop shops, and we are very proud of this program, man. It's just it's working, and it's being really well received as well. So
Yeah, that's great.
Well, it's a fantastic idea, and it really is something that's necessary for the small guys.
Especially right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here in Illinois, where looks like our governor wants to really just shut us down. He was talking 9 to 12 months.
Yeah, he's out of his mind.
The lounges, the brick and mortar place, they can't survive if that's going to be that long.
First of all, nobody can survive another 12 months of this. That's insanity.
No, you can't. But you guys are given an option for the cigar lover to say to get their smoke one way or another. Um, Talk about the smokes that you guys are offering in these packages. Can you name any of the names of the cigars? This way people know what they could be expecting part of bowl.
well, all I can say is that we are offering the best. The best of Ace Prime, the best of Crown Heads. We have some other partners that are asking to participate, so we should have on our probably third or fourth month of bulb some other brands as well. But out of the 20 plus lines that Crown Heads has, plus our 9 lines, I mean, we have plenty of high quality ultra premium cigars that'll be included in that box. And of course, each package has its own. It's tailored to that specific month by John Huber and myself, and it's we always try to kind of really surprise the customer. I mean, we do have some some interesting launches coming up too. So if you become a member, you're gonna receive firsthand some of the most exclusive cigars that the market hasn't even tried yet. So we're trying to make it, cool, to make it interesting to everybody, and I think people will be very much surprised when they receive their box.
Now you
So
talked
Johnny,
about
once
the
you become a member, do you would you always get the same set of cigars, or will it always change?
They always change. They're always
Okay.
going to be something different, and later on. So we're still like debating if we're going to do this or not. But later on, we might actually create sort of an assessment where people will answer a few questions, and we can help. Maybe uh, we can pick some cigars according to uh, that person's taste
Taste.
profile, what they
Mhm.
like, what they drink. So that's the whole idea. You know how much obsessed I am with pairing. So
Oh,
we're trying to
absolutely.
create something
I am too.
What is that, Bob? Blanton's?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, we got 30 bottles over here.
Only 3.
No. You can't find Blanton's, boy. It's become impossible.
I have some connections. We'll talk later.
You do, huh? Okay, we'll talk later.
Yes.
But anyway,
Now talking
let's
about
talk
the
about
the
these
memberships. So you said
sorry,
you
Kyle.
had memberships there. Well, now what kind of levels of the memberships, and like what would you get with the membership for the bulb?
So, what you get, first of all, is a huge discount. Second, it starts actually the free membership just to have access to content and things that we are developing right now for our public. So you have like early access to information, to lives, to a bunch of things. And then you have the packages of cigars, which are the paid memberships. It starts actually with 5 cigars package, and then there's 5, 10, 20, and 40, which is our double box, the double box packet. So it's basically to everyone's pocket. Like you can start with 5 cigars a month. You can go up to 4 cigars a month. It's up to you.
And can you cancel and go as you will, or is it like a yearly thing that you have to buy into, or what? How does that work?
You can sign up and cancel at any time. There's no contract, no obligation. If you try the cigars, you want to suspend because you're going to be traveling, because you're going to be working somewhere, you can suspend and then reactivate. You can just cancel. It's totally under the customer's control.
Oh, that's amazing. Beautiful. That's awesome.
Luciano, I have a question. Let's say I get one of the subscription and I love a cigar, a specific cigar, and I want to buy a box of it. Will there be any way of channeling that purchase through Bulb outside of the subscription? Is that possible?
Right now, no, it's not. So we encourage, of course, you to go to a brick and mortar. But if you actually send us an email saying, hey, out of this 5, I love this 3 more than anything, or I love this one that I really enjoy, I want to buy a box or something. So we'll definitely help you connect with the store, even if we have to build a bridge for you to connect. But we'll make sure you get that product. I can guarantee you that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just so if you guys don't know, the web page is thebulbbox.com. So again, just to add to that, is a no-brainer. Help your local stores and get great cigars for a great price.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, just as for us, we know that the Ace Prime lane, you have Tiago, you got your own cigar, fabulous. We got Luciano, the Traveler, another fabulous cigar. Tonight I got the Dominique Wilkins, another great cigar. Pichardo line.
The whole Pichardo line is unbelievable.
There you go.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yes. The Pichardo line is fantastic.
That's almost smoking here.
I mean, we talked about 11, you said, right? Earlier, Luciano.
Well, 9 cigars total. I mean, with the different vitolas and everything. Yeah. And I'm not counting the new ones that are coming out, like the Lester, the Adrian Gonzalez.
Right.
We have another Luciano coming out, which is the Dreamer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Now that's coming out when, in June?
End of July, beginning of August. So we are coordinating with the PCA. So they are actually creating a new platform that will be soon explained to everybody. But in that platform, we're going to have several specials and exclusives for PCA. And some of the cigars will be first exclusive for PCA.
Yeah, we saw that the PCA this year had unfortunately got canceled due to the COVID going around. So
yeah,
we're going to be missing this year in Vegas. So I'm looking forward to hearing to see what's going to be new coming out of there.
Mm-hmm. We can talk about it.
Whatever's new and comes out, you'll hear it here first.
Unless he gets it on Monday night.
You guys
we'll be
cannot-
second.
They got to leave Monday night out. We Tuesday, we don't want to be second to nobody.
you guys cannot see as a competition. There's a completely different thing.
That's right.
So
I
we
know.
are
We have no
we are not
competition.
pros like you. We are just manufacturers trying to build some content and get connected with our audience. It's funny because I was talking to the guys from Cigar Coop with Will, and then with Baird Duplessis from Ellis from Art, and they are big talk shows as well as much as you guys, and they're really happy what we were doing because before, we used to travel and visit stores and do events elsewhere. Now we cannot travel. So what can we do? Well, we're trying to get closer to the consumer, to the retailers, by providing this cool, talk shows and conversations. This coming Thursday, we'll have Rocky Patel at the show, and it's going to be a tremendous interview. We are looking forward to that.
Amazing.
So, we are bringing people from the industry that are not even connected, in a business sense with us. We are all friends, but there's no business involved whatsoever. We're just kind of really trying to create interesting content for everybody to enjoy.
Well,
I enjoyed Monday's show.
Yeah, you had a great show last night.
I got in late, so I had to watch it again later on. But interesting about the Connecticut rappers. That's something I didn't know. A lot of stuff that I didn't know about Connecticut, because somehow I'm just not into Connecticut rapper. But
it was a great lesson.
Interesting. Yes, it's educational, which that's always.
You should
fun.
try this one here. That's a hybrid Connecticut. Try this one here. It's a little different. Has a little more kick than regular Connecticut's.
Okay.
Where is that grown?
This one is grown in Ecuador. The wrapper is in Ecuador.
All right.
So talking about that, actually Frank led on to something to me. I just heard yesterday that Honduras has opened up again their factories. Luciano, you're very well aware of what's happening, especially with your factories in Nicaragua. What is happening in Nicaragua, or what else do you know of the small islands like Honduras, Ecuador, Dominican Republic? What's going on with all of that? Anything new?
Well, some of these countries are really hurt right now because they don't have much infrastructure, right? There's not many like very good hospitals or equipments or respirators. So they're struggling. And Nicaragua is kind of weird. So we hear different stories, and it's very unfortunate that it is a very, to say the least, unique government. People don't know much about it. The president disappeared for I don't know how many months, and now he appeared again, and no one knows what's going on. He says that everything is under control, but you see that in Managua, we hear stories that some hospitals are really kind of packed right now, with respiratory disease and stuff, but they are not testing, so they don't know if it's COVID-19 or not. Now in Stell is a different story. No one is sick in our factory. We don't hear much of COVID-19 in Stell at all. I'll be very honest with you. There's only one hospital in the city, and I just spoke to Adele Fernandez. I spoke to some other manufacturers there, and they say, everything's kind of normal there. So we know that there's COVID in Nicaragua, but it's more like in Managua, like on the capital. But if they don't create a policy of social distancing and really go after help, they will struggle a lot because that country doesn't have any infrastructure to face the challenges of the COVID-19. So I'm really concerned. Right now everything is fine and steady, but it takes only one person to go there and spread the virus. So we are concerned, but we haven't closed. The country hasn't closed. We closed our factory for almost 3 weeks. Pepin Garcia closed his factory, my father's, for almost a month. Adele kind of reduced the shift, and we had the holiday, so he closed for a week, and then he opened again. So a lot of people are opening and closing in Nicaragua, but there's no rules. So everybody's doing whatever they want. It is a very sensitive time in the industry because people are just not going to the stores anymore. So everybody's kind of somehow relying to online sales or eventually curbside pickup and some other ways. But things are kind of slow. But on the other hand, there is a shortage of several products in the market here as well. So the people are consuming cigars. We know that as a fact. And I spoke to lots of colleagues, and they're all saying the same thing. They because of that closure in Honduras and in Dominican, you see more shortage of the products coming from these factories than Nicaragua. Honduras, just like you said, it opened a little actually longer than last week. I think it was 2 weeks ago, but they opened really slow. Like I spoke to Christian Eiroa from CLE, and he was telling me that his factory closed for 3 weeks, and then they opened the tobacco processing, and now they implemented a new system in their factory where all the employees have to go through this steam with chloride and some other chemicals there to kind of sort of sanitize us. In fact, everybody needs to wear gloves now in this factory, which they have to adapt, because remember that tobacco, it's something that is artisanal, and the employees they have to touch the tobacco, they have to feel it to see if the leaf is
all by touch.
It's right. Yeah. So, but he says it's working. So he's doing a great job there, by the way.
Is there what's the median age of the employees at all of the factories? I would think it's an older population that are doing the rolling, and they may be a little bit more susceptible to the virus.
Well, we do have some elders that work at our factory, but I think the majority is actually under 30, to be honest.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think Nicaragua changed a little bit in that sense. You see new generations working the craft, learning the craft, and yeah, there's a lot of young. I have people in our factory that are 19, 20, 21, 26. Those are, of course, they started when they were like 16, 17. So they are pretty experienced, believe it or not.
So they're accomplished rollers then.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fantastic news.
That's awesome.
That's really great stuff to hear. I know in the groups that we talk about, people have definitely increased their cigar intake per day. What might person do one? Pretty much maybe 2 or 3, even 4 cigars, because people are home. Yep. So I would have to. You would know. You would see what's going on yourself. Do you see shipment and inventory moving a lot more in the last months?
I'm going to be honest, Ronnie. I don't know. I hear different stories. Because of this social distancing thing, I just hear, and now that we are not directly into the distribution, we have Crown Heads taking care of everything. So we are sort of watching from far. What I see is a lot of people trying to buy cigars and buying online and going to online channels. So it's inevitable. They're growing a lot. It's not something that I like, but that's a reality. But I think you're right. I think people are smoking more. I mean, I can tell you about myself. So I am smoking much more now.
Yeah, well, you're not traveling and being on planes. You're home, and you, Tiago, probably talking, 5,
I think
6 hours, 8
Tiago's
hours
the
a
same.
day.
Tiago's probably smoking way more.
Oh, way more.
and now that he has
how
his
depressing
private
you
lounge,
sound.
Very upset, huh?
Look at that, the smile of depression.
So Bo Cook is saying 2 or 3. That's a minor league. LOL.
Well, Bo, forget about it. We know what
Yeah.
Bo smokes. What has he got? Basically half a box a day, Bo. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, Bo smokes at least 5 cigars a day, I think.
Yeah.
Gary
a
said,
chain cigar compared to a chain cigarette smoker. Bo's a chain cigar smoker.
Yeah.
But it's great though. He
That's a lot
smokes
of
great cigars.
cigars,
It's all
Oh
good
yeah,
stuff.
bro.
And then in the last couple of days too, there was a news article. I forget who was reporting it, but you take it for what it is. I don't take anything for when I read these articles, but it was a doctor out of France said that smoking tobacco is a way to combat COVID-19. So you go with there. So I say I'm doing my part that I'm not getting the virus this way by smoking a
But
cigar.
only very good tobacco. Only very good tobacco works.
Well, if Trump can say that we can take
Clorox.
Clorox injections, we can say tobacco's good.
What are you drinking there tonight? What did you just pour yourself? It's got to be good stuff. What do you got?
Florida Cognac. That's a Nicaraguan rum.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Very.
I like it very much.
When we go down there, we'll test some out
There you go.
in person. So anyway, folks, we had talked to you a couple of weeks ago about Luciano going to be doing a deconstruction and construction of the same cigar. You almost ready, Luciano, or do you need some time and we can talk to Tiago about
We can go to station
what's
break
going
if you
on?
need some
We
time.
can go and talk a little basketball.
I think we can actually keep talking while I do it.
Okay.
All right, no
There we
problem. So you
Yeah.
can go. I said, well, if you didn't need time, we get Tiago. I mean, people would want to hear a
So-
little bit about the basketball world.
This is not our cigar.
What is
This
that?
is
So
one-
which one are you gonna do it?
This is someone else's cigar,
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
but I'm not gonna tell you who it is because
Yeah,
I have no
it's
idea
okay.
what I'm gonna find inside.
Yeah.
So I just wanna,
All right. So
Okay.
before you do
Okay.
that, we do have to mention a couple of our sponsors. We'll start with one sponsor in particular. Kyle, are you ready with
We're looking
our
at
sponsor?
it.
Well, no,
I'm
they're not.
kidding.
We haven't talked to them.
I'm
But
kidding.
we do have very good friends out of New York City. Actually, our first sponsor,
Yep.
DAV Cigars, where we have Armin and Val from New York City. They got Dominican Republic line, and they got quite a few lines of cigar in all.
And
And
they got a few themselves, at least a dozen. now.
Awesome.
Kyle, if you want to show DAV on there while
Yep.
Luciano is licking that cigar and getting it ready.
Yep. It's up there.
Put that on there. And folks, if you get a chance, especially you East Coast folks, take a look at DAV Cigars. Tremendous line and
Good
very
smokes.
enjoyable.
Yeah, very good.
Yep. And there they are, folks. So,
Should be readily available all over the East Coast, I would say.
yeah, we got Armin and Val ready to assist you in any way possible. And give them out a shout. And good stuff indeed, folks. We've got a few more sponsors to come across the show, but that's one of the things we do. Right now, we'll get back to the deconstruction, construction of a cigar.
I don't know if he's ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, he's getting himself ready.
I'm not. I was not ready because we
Okay,
talked
no
about
problem.
we're talking about construction of cigars, and then just 5 minutes before the show, you guys told me to do this thing of deconstruct and construct using the same tobacco, and that's what I'll accept the challenge, and that's what I'll try
Put
to
you on
do.
the hot seat.
Nice.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, just to let you know, Tiago,
Tiago,
Armin,
you're going to do it too tonight. That's what Luciano told us.
Well,
right.
believe it or
I'm
not, he
putting you on
knows
the
how to
spot,
do this.
Tiago.
I do.
Armin wants to talk to you on Facebook, so make sure you friend him. And he feels bad he hasn't really talked to you since Las Vegas.
Look at that copper.
Look at that.
All right, here we go.
Oh, Miguel. What's up,
What's
Miguel?
up, Miguel?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for
Hey,
having me
Miguel.
here.
Hey, here we
Hey.
go. Miguel from Crown Head, folks.
How you doing?
Hey, good to see
Doing good,
everybody
man.
out there. I like seeing everyone out there. Tiago, what's up, homie?
What's up?
You guys, thanks for having me on the show. I'm a little late, but I'm here to see the deconstruction of a cigar.
That's okay. You're
Yes.
getting me back because I tuned in late to your show. I had to watch it from the beginning after you ended.
I love it.
Look, this is a Miguel. What wrapper is this?
I'm gonna guess that's a Mexican San Andreas.
It looks like a San Andreas, but this is a Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania broadleaf.
Yeah, but
grown in Amish country.
Yeah, so this is not our cigar. I'm not gonna mention whose cigar this is, but it's a very good brand. I'm surprised because I'm not mentioning the name. I'll tell you, I'm surprised what I see inside of this leaf because on the outside we have one coloration.
Yeah,
And
and on
the
the inside, it's a different color.
Oh, they dyed.
Yeah, completely different color.
They
It's kinda
dyed it.
almost like dry inside and completely different
Yes.
color.
Huh.
And that tells you something, Miguel.
Sure it does.
Yeah, I got to tell you, over the years, a lot of people have used.
Oh, okay.
You know, a lot of people have used the Pennsylvania broadleaf. I myself am not a big fan of it, but it does have a very uniqueness to it, and it's grown in the Amish part of the of Pennsylvania. And I know a lot of guys are out there using it right now. There's a shortage of Connecticut broadleaf, so you know.
Really?
You can't trust the Amish.
They're not watching. They're not watching.
They're not
Yeah,
watching.
No, they're not
I
watching.
think they're not watching.
And you know
Electricity.
something? They're not even listening.
No.
I have no idea what kind of binder this is, so this is have to figure out. Okay. Very stainy though.
So, do you think that might have been dyed? That
If
brown-
this, I don't know, maybe. So here, this is if this was our cigar, you would see a mark right here in the binder of draw tested. You know, that kind of went to the draw master.
What does that mark look like?
It's like
It's
a
just
marker.
charcoal, like a dark marker.
Okay.
Charcoal.
But it doesn't affect the flavor, and it's like a natural marker. And after it's brought out of the draw machine, it gets put back in the mold because it's got to go back to the rollers, and they'll mark it with a marker across the mold, say that all those cigars have passed the draw testing mold, phase, and then it goes back to the rollers, and they put the wrapper on.
Gotcha.
Okay.
How is
It
that
doesn't
draw
get
testing
picked out.
conducted? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so the draw tester is basically it's a machine and it has a cylinder and it sucks air through it. Okay, and there's a speedometer, and so the cigar after it's been bunched, that means filler and binder. There's no wrapper on it. The cigar is inserted into the tube, air is sucked through, and then the speedometer will hit a certain mark. And as long as it's between a certain number, it should have a good draw.
Okay.
And so it passes. I can't speak for Tabacalera Pichardo, but I can speak for other factories. Usually it's given back to the rollers to fix. And if it goes back and fails again, then the cigar is scrapped and sold off as scrap tobacco.
Okay.
So that's how it's a little cylinder and the bunch, which is the filler and binder, are put in.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, how could that be fixed though if it does not pass? Do they have to deconstruct it and do it again, or?
Yeah, they can deconstruct it a little bit and try to find the knot, and then they can try to pass it again. If it doesn't, it gets failed. If it does pass, then it goes through the rest of production.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Okay, that's
awesome.
interesting.
You want to see a binder from Tabacalera Pichardo? That's the mark I referred to.
Oh,
there it is.
okay.
Oh,
There it
okay.
is. Nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
So, Miguel, you want to tell everybody what this is? I just
So-
removed the binder here. And the way this cigar is constructed, as you can see, it's the binder, and then we do have a base on the outside.
So the binder, as you
Which
guys
is-
know, the binder is what holds the cigar together.
Right.
The binder is very important because it helps control the burn of a cigar. So if you were to deconstruct the cigar and you have the wrapper, the filler, and the binder all separate, right?
Yep.
And you light the wrapper leaf, as you saw, it's so thin you can almost see through it.
Mhm.
It goes up real fast. If you light up a binder, it's a slower burn, and the fillers burn even slower. So by holding them all together, that binder helps control the even burn for a cigar because the wrapper's so thin. And so you have a binder that is good in flavor, that is strong, that can hold it together, but also a binder is there to help control burning.
Okay. Now, would that still be? Would it still be able to control if there's, let's say, there was more seco in the cigar?
Well, Seco and Viso tend to burn very similar. The Ligero is what burns the slowest. So if you're having a cigar that's 100% Ligero, it would not burn very well. And that's why you can't really do a 100% Ligero cigar. Seco and Viso help the cigar burn. And if you notice, most of the time, Ligero is directly in the center of the cigar where the biggest of the heat is, so it burns evenly.
Right. Okay.
Now, Luciano, this looks like a totally different system. Is this that tubular roll as opposed to the accordion rolling
That's
technique?
a very good question. I'm finding out right now.
Yeah, those are the two main ways you roll a cigar. You know, is the accordion style, which is literally the leaf being folded, or into bar, which are little tubes that you make that you roll into a bunch. That's how they're supposed to be done. Not every cigar is, especially lower quality cigars, aren't always done that way. That looks like
as you can see here, well, it looks like an accordion, but actually is a tube. So it's folded, but it's not folded. Oh no, this is an accordion. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a estrujado. See?
Okay. Right. Yeah, I see.
So this is a very good leaf here. It has, I would say, probably a leaf of Seco so far. So another Seco here. So 2. And we got a Viso.
Can you tell the difference between the Seco and the Viso? Why you think the Viso and the Seco?
Yeah, the visible difference is on the thickness.
The thickness in the
so
vein.
Viso is a little thicker, has more mass, so more veins, like Miguel just said.
So Seco are the 2 or 3 leaves towards the bottom of the plant. Viso is a little bit higher, and then the very top of the plant is Ligero. So you have Ligero, Seco, and Viso. I'm sorry, Seco. Starting at the top of the plant. I apologize. It's Ligero, then it's Seco, and then it's Viso.
Okay.
And then at the very bottom is Volado. Most people don't talk about Volado. Volado is the sand leaf, and most of the time those leaves aren't used in premium hand-rolled cigars.
But I mean, you would have to look at the density of the leaf to be able to tell, because, well, from where I'm, because here, I mean, honestly, they look identical,
Right.
I've been in a factory before, and a guy who separated Seco and Viso, I've been in a factory where the guy was blind.
Yeah, wow. It's by touching it. Yeah.
All by touch.
Wow.
And if you notice, leaf, by the way, stems are very important in a cigar. People don't realize, but stems do play a very important part of the structure and flavor of a cigar. So you get a little bit of stem in a cigar always. Oh yeah, stems are in every cigar. Go ahead.
I always thought that a stem
would
be
I was just going to say, the stem is a very important part of the Ligero. So you don't remove the stem out of the Ligero.
Oh, okay.
And that's what we're seeing on the right hand side there. It looks like there's a large vein running through there, so that would be a stem.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't remove stem from fillers, at all. But of course, you just gotta be careful. I mean,
you don't want a tree trunk in there.
Right.
Yeah. Just like what I'm seeing right here, and again, I'm not mentioning who makes this, so it's okay. As you can see, there's a big stem right here in the middle. This is a very good example of what
I see it.
Think is a Maduro. What they think is a Maduro. If you look at the leaves I have here, Miguel, this is like Seco, 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 and then we got 2 Visos.
Yeah.
And then you have right in the middle have the big stem, and then you have a dark wrapper.
So that is not a strong cigar.
This is not a strong cigar. It's just probably harsh and spicy. I haven't smoked, but it's probably just extremely harsh and spicy.
Can you hold up that one leaf that one leaf there that's been frogged? And I want to show that to the guys. I think it was the there's a leaf. No, there's a leaf there that has the 2 parts to it.
Yes.
No, is it? Okay, so
we have
see that
one here.
That is called frogging the tobacco because it looks like frog legs. They're connected at the top, but you're taking the thickest part of the stem out. And so it basically has 2 legs. That's called frogging the tobacco.
Oh, okay.
So that stem is important right there. Now you don't want the other part of the stem. The other part of the stem is too
thick. But the bottom is removed. That's right. So we like especially when we're separating Seco, this part is removed.
And would that be the bottom of is that the bottom of the leaf? That would be the bottom that was removed.
So let me give
That's
you
correct.
guys a little insight on a cigar. Traditionally, how it's supposed to be done is the leaf, the foot of the cigar is what you light. Those are the
Right.
tips of the leaf. The leaves that are back in your mouth are the part of the leaves that connect to the plant. And so
Gotcha.
that's how a cigar is usually produced. So you're always lighting the tips. And because that leaf changes flavor as you smoke it, that's usually how it goes from tip to end. Now, the cool thing with Luciano is Luciano and his blending skills and all the people down at Tabacalera Pichardo, sometimes they play with it and invert it and to play with different blends. So
Yes,
it's very
like
unique.
Tiago's.
Yep, there you go. Tiago's is a cigar that is almost inverted in that way, and it's a very unique thing. And you have to be very well constructed for a cigar to burn correctly that way. And obviously, Tiago's cigar is one of the top blends out there.
Let me just make a comparison. The touch of the guy that he's rolling a cigar, it's impressive to see when they bunch and they know exactly how many grams that cigar has. It's unbelievable, like all by touch, like you guys said. It's almost comparing to basketball. You know, I touch a basketball and I know if that I can be with my eyes closed. I know if that basketball is new, it's old, which brand it is. I can see at the rim if it's low a little bit, like a half of inch. I know just the time that people spend doing something, and they have the little touch in the in the fingers. It's unbelievable.
Hey, Tiago, they changed. The NBA went to Wilson basketballs, I heard.
2021, 2022.
Yep.
They will.
What do you think?
Which is,
what was the reason
I
behind
like
that?
Oh, what are they? Wilson? Yeah, I think it's Wilson.
No,
Yeah.
right now it's Spalding.
It's Spalding, but they're going to Wilson.
Correct.
Why?
Is there a reason why, Tiago? I guess a lot of people would like to know. I'm a Spalding guy.
To be honest, I think it's money.
Yeah, it's always money.
It's just like
Usually
baseball. You know,
usually what it
baseball.
comes
The
down to
jerseys
is
in
all money.
baseball have been made by Majestic for the last 15, 20 years. And baseball had cut a deal with Under Armour to switch it all over Under Armour this year.
Yeah.
And Under Armour wound up pulling out because they couldn't afford to do it, and Nike took it over. And what it is it's contracts. It's all about who's willing to pay the biggest contract.
But it's definitely a change, though, because we used to that same ball for years. Now you got to adjust. It's different.
Yeah, the
I wonder if
fingertips
it's going to
definitely
change
can tell.
shooting percentage.
So it has nothing to do with Tom Hanks being lonely on an island, right?
No, I'll tell you this: like good shooters, some guys will increase the percentage. Some, in the end, it's gonna be the same, I think. But like you gotta adjust, though. You gotta adjust to a new ball for sure.
Sure.
Right.
And gentlemen, just another thing about the cigars being rolled as Luciano's showing you all the leaves there. You know what's interesting? Nowadays, it's very common for cigar rollers to roll in teams. Usually you have a man and a woman, not always, but the majority of the time you have a man and a woman. And the man is a bunchero. He's the one that's taking the bunching leaves that Tiago was talking about. And he's the one that's rolling the bunch, putting it in the mold. It goes and it gets pressed, rotated, pressed again through the draw machine, comes back, and then those are brought back to the same pair, and then it's usually given to the woman to put the wrapper on, and that's because the wrappers are so delicate and the wrappers are much thinner, and so a woman's hands are much more gentler than a man's hands.
Yeah, they're smaller too.
Yep,
Smaller
yep.
hands.
Very interesting. I didn't know
I
that.
never put that together. Thank you, Miguel. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Those are little things that, as a cigar nerd, I've been in the business almost 20 years. As a cigar nerd, those are things I love to share with people because unless you're down in the factory, you may not even know those kind of things. And it's just an extra fun. It's like Tiago with basketball. To hear a little of the backstory, to hear a little bit about, things that it just makes you appreciate the sport even more,
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've seen like videos where, you see the women finishing it off and stuff like that. But I never assumed that was her actual role in it. Just figured everybody does it,
So the guys are usually the ones cutting out the stems, and using the knife and blade.
Well, usually the tobacco is brought to the rolling table, prepared, ready. And of course, sometimes they'll have to remove a little stem or something, but usually it's brought to them. Like if you're think about it as a chef and you're at home, you have to measure everything out, but then you see on TV how everything's already measured out in little cups and they're just dumping it. Usually the ingredients are all laid out and handed to the rollers, so it's very simple for them.
Gotcha. They don't have to get up out of their chair.
Exactly.
Very
Time is
cool.
money. Time is money, Frank.
That's right. You got produce.
We're
Hey, these
getting a
guys
little
are
bit
rolling
of
200, 250 a day. That's a lot
What
of
I think,
cigars.
what I think is great about Luciano is that he is a cigar blender. He is a cigar maker. But you can meet a lot of cigar guys out there who are blenders and makers who cannot roll a cigar. They'll roll little purritos. They'll roll a little leaf to smoke the taste of tobacco. Luciano, what I respect about Luciano is the fact that he does it all. He can make a cigar and he can sell a cigar. So from the beginning to the end, Tiago, as a coach in basketball, the fact that he's played in the NBA, I'm going to guess, Tiago, I can't speak for you, but guys may look at you with a little bit more respect than maybe a
For
guy
sure.
who's never played the game in his life. And that's exactly, that's how I feel about Luciano. Luciano talks the talk and walks the walk. He can do it all.
He's the master.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Miguel is very generous with his words. If I know someone that knows it all, it's Miguel. I don't know how many of you remember when he came to a Cuban Experience many years ago. I don't know if you guys were going there, but this was, I don't know, Miguel, what, 5, 6 years?
Yeah, this is probably 5 or 6 years ago.
I think it was very, when they started, and Miguel was working for another company, and they're doing like this show, and I think Luisito was bunching, and we got a girl that was rolling, and Miguel was just explaining all the process from farming to fermenting and producing, and I was so amazed. I said, man, this guy knows everything. You don't find people there on the sales field with that kind of knowledge all the time. With all due respect to many friends that are out there, I don't know anyone like Miguel who has this ability to really know everything. I mean, I think because, correct me if I'm wrong, Miguel, I mean, but you are a curious guy. So you went to Ecuador to visit farms. You went to several factories. You spent time with these factories. And that's really important. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what I did too. I didn't have to learn how to bunch, but I said, you know what? I need to understand this process. I need to understand how a buncher feels, how a roller feels, and the challenges to bunch and roll a cigar. And I tell you, man, it was not easy. I spent a lot of time, after hours, after the factory was closed. I would ask, one of the bunchers to kind of hang out with me and buy the guy a beer and order some chicken wings and
well,
and
he also hung out with Pichardo, another tobacconist that you
master
blender, which you really
absolutely.
And
that blending, that's the guy.
Now, Miguel, do you roll as well?
I do roll. I have all the equipment here. I have the chaveta, I have the table. I do all that. And I'll be honest with you, I make what I call Frankenstein cigars. So over the years, I've been very blessed. I worked for CAO, and Tarano made all the cigars. I worked for Tarano directly, who had factories. I worked for Roberto Duran and Crown Heads, and just people that I know will give me leaves. And I would just stack them at my house, and I would make these Frankenstein cigars. And they tasted like crap. They were terrible. And but it was just fun to do. And yeah, I do. I can roll basically a Robusto or a Toro. I cannot get any funkier than that, gentlemen.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
but I will tell you, I've been very blessed in this business to take my craft very seriously. And I have spent time in Honduras, Nicaragua, Cuba, Dominican Republic, all 4 major cigar producing countries in the world. I've spent time in all those countries, as well as Ecuador and other growing regions. And I've taken it as an opportunity to teach myself and to ask questions. And I think that's very important to share that with people that are curious,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Like someone said, it's not how it looks, it's how it tastes.
Absolutely.
That's Gary just said that.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, when I worked for a gentleman by the name of Jono Osgener, he's a legend in the cigar industry, passed away 2 years ago. Jono would always say, look, when you make a cigar, it means a lot to you. You want it to look great. You want it to be presented correctly. But at the end of the day, it needs to taste good. And sometimes you will find a cigar that has just the ugliest cigar band on it or terrible packaging, but the cigar is fantastic. At the end of the day, it needs to taste great. And that's really the most important part of it.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of people buy with their eyes first.
Oh, sure.
You know,
it's like
you're
eating with your
attracted
eyes.
to the glitter of the band or the size of the cigar, whatever it may be, the picture on the box. You know, that's always seems to be the draw to to the purchase.
Yeah,
Marketing is so important. Marketing is essential.
Marketing works.
You know,
Marketing works.
But that can also bite you in the butt too.
More educated consumer, it means nothing. As you said, it's the taste. That's the bottom line. Let me light it up and smoke it. If it's good,
it's really funny. I've throughout the years in the cigar industry, you run into sometimes problems. Maybe you have plenty of cigars, but you don't have any boxes to put them in, right? And your best retailers are out there go, you can't smoke the box. Just send me the damn cigars in a bundle, right? But the truth is that you want it presented correctly if you can, and you want it in the box, maybe a ribbon,
presentation
wrapper. Yeah. But the truth is that there is a lot of marketing in cigars, and it's fairly new because in the 80s there wasn't a lot of marketing for premium hand rolled cigars. You saw a lot of ads for White Owl, for Dutch Masters and things, but you didn't really see advertising for premium cigars. In the 80s, the industry was dying, and so it wasn't until Cigar Aficionado in 1992 where marketing and cigar culture really came together. And that is really the beginning of marketing in cigars,
Yeah, that was the big cigar boom back in the 90s.
That was the boom.
Everybody went crazy,
Oh, every celebrity in the world was smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Luciano, are you ready to put together that cigar now for everybody to see your construction part?
Oh, Luciano, I got to ask you something. When you held that cigar up, I thought it was a Maduro. It's deep colored and it looked a little oily. How would I have known that it wasn't?
It's hard, and unless if you open the cigar. I mean, this is sold as a Maduro, but it's most of these leaves are kind of not too much processed. So
do you know
what? It doesn't mean it's a bad cigar. I mean, it's just
no. I know, but I'm getting kind of like hoodwinked on that. It's not a Maduro.
Well, just so you guys know, and you may know this, I'm just sharing this with you, but Maduro is not a leaf. Maduro is a process. Mm-hmm. So believe it or not, I've had people ask me, do Maduro leaves come off the plant dark? And no, all leaves come off the plant green. They're hung in the curing barn where the chlorophyll is kind of naturally coming out of the leaf. So the leaf turns from green to yellow to beige to brown, right? We want all that chlorophyll out. So when you smoke a candela, none of the chlorophyll has escaped that leaf, and they purposely heat the barn so the chlorophyll stays in the leaf, right? Mm-hmm. So Maduro does not refer to a leaf. It really refers to a process. And the word Maduro literally translates to ripe. And Maduro just means a ripe leaf. So it's been fermented longer in the pilons. Not every leaf can go through that process. Connecticut shade, Cameroon, the leaf is not thick enough to be in that process to become a Maduro. That's why you'll never have a Cameroon Maduro. But broadleaf and Mexican San Andreas, those leaves are thick and heavy, contain a lot of water. They can go through that fermentation process and become Maduro leaves. So that's something that I love to share with people, because people think Maduro is a leaf, but it's not. It's a process.
Miguel, that's a great explanation. And I think Luciano, when he taught me about this, he used the apples as an example.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best. Do you want to use that? Go ahead and tell that, Luciano. That's a great one.
Yeah, I mean, just like apples and grapes too. So I'm gonna do one different, Miguel. I'm gonna use grapes now.
Okay.
Oh.
So
nice.
Here's one thing that if you drink wine, you understand exactly what I'm saying. Some wines are meant to be aged for longer than some other wines, right?
Bordeaux.
So if you get a Bordeaux is meant to be aged Several regions of France are meant to be aged. But I'll give a very good example of a wine that you're not supposed to age too much,
Beaujolais.
which is Malbec. Malbec is a very good example of a wine that, if it's more than 5 years, you got to be careful, because that specific grape is not supposed to be aged at all. So that's why, if you notice, I have several bottles of wine here I can show you. If you look at a Malbec bottle, or if you look at Shiraz bottle, which is basically the same grape, just different regions, you notice that that bottle is extremely thick, and the cork is very long. The reason why is because you wanna contain or suppress any oxidation of the wine. We want to make sure there's not much contact with the oxygen. Now, if you want to age a wine, what you do, you're going to produce actually thinner bottles, and the cork will be short, just like in the Bordeaux, so that wine can breathe, right? But they're all grapes. Why one? If you age too much, you're just ruining the flavor of the wine, which is the Malbec, as an example. And if you go to the Bordeaux, you can, the region of I'm trying to think. You mentioned Beaujolais, but there is some old ones that you can actually try. Or let's talk about the Italian wine. So if you like Brunellos you can age for longer period of time, but not too much, like about 15 years, 20 years. More than that, you just cannot drink it as well. Barolos
you can age forever.
Then you can age forever.
Yep.
And the reason why I mentioned the Barolo, it's because it is the same grape as the Beaujolais. But it's a different region, different soil. It already makes a completely difference on the outcome of that wine. So, in the same way that you have grapes that are meant to be aged more, because they take more time to achieve its maturity, and that's where Maduro comes from. Like, it's mature, right? Some other grapes, if you wait too much, it's just going to ruin it. So same thing with tobacco. There are some types of tobacco that gets darker faster. And a good example is the San Andreas wrapper, or the Pennsylvania broadleaf. Those leaves, they darken really fast, and they are ready to be used and to wrap a cigar. If you try to age a Havana wrapper, you just will never get that color, and you can age forever to get a dark Habano, but then you start losing flavor. So if you age too much, you start losing flavor. So it's fascinating, and I can also give the apple example really quick. So if you cut a apple that has a little more sugar on it, or it depends on the soil that you are, of course, but let's talk about a very simple example, like the Gala and the Fuji versus the green apple. The green apple, if you slice it, that apple, and in about 30 minutes, you're going to start seeing the yellow dots in that apple, like the fermentation. Now, if you slice a Fuji apple, it's going to take 30 seconds, and you're going to see that apple, the fermenting right away, getting darker right away. But they are both apples, right? So it's the same thing with the tobacco. Now I know here, I tasted one of the leaves. I know this is actually a Dominican cigar that I just opened right here. And I have two very good examples. They're both Dominican. One cigar here, you see all the long fillers, so this is a premium cigar.
Mm-hmm.
This cigar here was bought in a gas station. This here on this side here, as you can see. It's a Chinese cigar, and when I say it's a Chinese cigar, it is made in China. So this is a truly Chinese cigar. That's why we can talk about it. If you look at this is all medium filler. This is not short filler, but it's medium filler. Okay, can you see all the leaves broken in half?
Yeah, it looks like it's made in China.
So no, I mean they don't have a tradition of producing cigars. If it was an Indonesian cigar, I would respect a little more, because they have some tradition on making a very unique cigar. So This is it's a good example of difference between a premium cigar and
Knockoff.
a
Mass
not premium
produced.
cigar.
A
Yeah,
mass
mass
produced, yeah.
produced. Mass produced. Let's put it this way. This is probably even machine rolled. I don't know. So that's a very good way of seeing that. Now, I'm going to try to rebuild this cigar, but I think I should have opened other cigar. I should have opened my cigar and rebuild that cigar. But it is what it is.
Do you have to spray that with a little water to kind of get a little the tobacco?
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm actually using my Scotch here to kind of keep the wrapper. I don't have.
Definitely gonna add a little flavor.
Yeah, I don't have my glue here because again, I wasn't planning to do this. But let's see what we can do. So I'm gonna try to bunch right here. Okay. So this is a leaf of Seco. So I'm gonna just change the process. Instead of using the Seco on the outside, like you saw when I deconstructed, I'm gonna use the Seco as a filler on the inside. Okay, but there is no liher on the cigar, so I will actually put a viso in the center.
Okay.
As you can see here.
Yeah.
The frog leg.
What I'm doing here, it's using these two hands, these two fingers here, and building the accordion in my fingers. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now you have the accordion right here.
Yep. Yep.
If it was an intubado, I'll need to use both hands, and I'll have to fold this way. There's several ways of doing it. I could fold this way and then fold this way, and I have a tube right here in my hand. Depends on the size of the leaf. And that's how you bunch it. It's easier to build a cigar this way. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but usually for gauges that are over 50, we do a strujado. For gauges that are under 50 ring gauge, we do entubado.
Okay.
So here it is. Oops, I get to the camera.
Frog legs.
And now we go with the leaf of Seco right here. And as you can see, I am building this strujado, but I'm turning as I bunch.
Yeah, turning your hand and twisting.
I'm turning my hand. So I'm gonna choose basically right now 3 leaves to be in the center. I'm gonna try to build exactly the same size of the cigar I open, which is a 50.
Okay.
Now the top is the tip of the leaf.
Yes, the top is the tip of the leaf, just like as Miguel explained.
Yep.
This is where the burn starts.
Yep.
This is the bottom. This is where you put your mouth.
Okay.
So, but again, the leaves are kind of breaking, so I'm just trying to rebuild the cigar. That's just for the fun. Usually.
And you guys know, in the factory, these leaves would be very wet.
Wet.
And the cigar is very wet, and that's why if you light one right off the roller's table, if they've done the whole process, filler, binder, wrapper, it would create steam and it wouldn't taste very good.
Yeah.
What they sit in the aging room, we're trying to get moisture out of the cigar because we think in the American terms we want to keep our cigars humidified, but down in where they're made, they're so wet that we are trying to get the humidity out. So at this point, the cigar is 65% humidity or whatever. It would be much wetter if it was in the factory.
Okay.
Right. See what I can do here. So as you can see, I have a bunch here. This bunch is probably about 47 right now, because I know I just used 5 leaves. So that's how I actually determine what kind of gauge you want. But here I have no ligero whatsoever, so I have to kind of add couple more leaves actually of Seco here to make the ring gauge that we want.
Okay.
So I'm just getting random leaves here. This is not to smoke. This is just to show.
This is a stunt cigar.
Yeah.
This is stunt cigar. This is truly Frankenstein, man. Now, see, this is the binder of the short filler cigar. So I'm gonna actually double bind this one because the tobacco is too broken. I want to make sure it's double binded. And listen, if you see I usually Cuban cigars are double binded. Okay, most of them.
Really? Okay.
That's one of the things that I love about blending is using the binder to blend. This is more like a Cuban / traditional Nicaraguan from the, I would say, 1990s, 2000s. But usually it goes. I mean, Nicaraguan cigars, you usually only see with one binder. We in our lines we have only one cigar that's double binded. Everything else is just one binder.
And usually that double binder is the same leaf, same kind of leaf, or a different one?
Not necessarily. We can use different binders.
One of the Tiago, one of the companies I worked for in the past, Tarano, we actually would double bind a lot of our cigars. And one of our cigars that we double binded, that cigar used two different binders and they overlaid a little bit. So when you started the cigar, it would have a binder that was really renowned for being a medium, very flavorful leaf. And then the second binder was a unique leaf from Ometepe, a little stronger, a little more potent. And so that cigar would change on you because of the binder. So you can do that and add more complexity in a cigar.
Have all Cuban cigars traditionally been double bind?
It's been a very long tradition that they've had of double binding.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't have any vegetable glue right now. So otherwise I'll be doing right here at the end of the binder first. So here's what I'm going to do. I bind it once. Then I'm going to do it twice. Now I got to be careful because remember that the burning is on this side here.
Yeah.
So what I'll do to double bind, I need to start in the other end to double bind. If it's, of course, double binded by hand. I mean, everything is by hand, but there's a bunching tool that we use in the factory that you just kind of lay out the two binders together, or sometimes as we just put in an angle like this. Yeah. In this case, because I'm doing 100% handmade, I'm gonna get this side here.
Totalmente a mano.
Totalmente a mano.
That means totally handmade, opposed to hecho a mano, which is handmade.
Right.
So you notice that the binder that was holding that medium filler, it's very thick actually. I can feel is a viso that they use as binder, and the reason why is because of the medium fillers. Now this one here is very thin binder that I'm using right now, which is from the other cigar, and let's see how it goes.
A good tension.
Not yet, because this is not the wrapper. So we are in the binder. What we want to do is press it as much as we can. I'm going to just use a newspaper and use a suppress.
Oh, it's Trump in there.
All right.
Hey, wait a minute. I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead.
Yeah, he's brain salad surgery now.
I thought he had a heart attack or something. He had heart surgery that failed.
I thought it was brain surgery. Then he went bad.
This is a very old school method of using paper to roll cigars. At one time, it was very popular, 100 years ago, that they would use newspapers sometimes to bind a cigar to create that pressure. And eventually people went to all molds. They were first wooden molds. Wooden molds were the most common, but nowadays everyone uses it's like a plastic mold that is being made.
Right.
Hey, Miguel, I got a question from Facebook listener. What was the machine that Lewis used over at the Cuban 4 years ago? Do you remember?
A machine.
What machine? I don't remember him using a machine.
That was the question. What's that machine that Lewis used 4 years ago?
I don't remember a machine, but the tools that he had the cigar cutter that it goes onto the table, which is a very heavy duty cutter, and you can measure the length of the cigar you want to cut. He also used a chaveta. Maybe they're talking about the chaveta. The chaveta is the blade that a traditional cigar roller would use. And the chaveta is basically a very sharp on one side, shaped like a moon, and straight edge on the part you hold. I don't think it had a Labrador machine. A Labrador machine is like a rubber little piece that you can put the filler and binder in, and then you just crank it, and that rolls your cigar for you. I don't think he had one of those.
I don't remember ever seeing a machine. No.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a machine either.
I think he was always using his hands. He always hand rolled it. So
He had the press. I remember the press, and then he had the
Chaveta.
molds. The molds. Yeah.
The molds,
that was about it.
So I was just going by a question that somebody asked.
Huh.
This is the wrapper. As you can see, it's a little broken, so I'm gonna do my best here.
okay.
With
Alright.
rum.
Scotch.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Got some.
Nice.
Got some.
With Tiago, he's got some
Some
cachaça.
Scotch.
He's got that cachaça because he's Brazilian.
Oh, there you
Cachaça?
go.
Oh, yeah.
The cachaça is awesome. Let's see.
Notice how Tiago picked up on the alcohol usage.
Yeah.
Nice job, Tiago. Salud.
Look how the newspaper presses.
Nice.
It
Very nice.
really well pressed. See,
Old school.
old school.
Doesn't the newspaper also draw out some of the moisture?
Yeah,
At the
you
Remember,
factory?
yes, it does. So we remember that I have to invert it to double bind. So let's invert it again, so I know exactly where the burn is. And man, this wrapper is just too small. So I'm gonna have to start here, and
You'll
then
make
we'll
it
cut
shorter
it.
thick.
And remember, every leaf, you guys, has a right side and a left side. And so out of every
Yep.
leaf, you get two wrappers. You get two wrappers from every leaf. And depending on what side of the leaf is if you're going to roll right or if you're going to roll left, depending on what side
That's
of the
right.
leaf.
Right, because of the shape of the leaf.
In this case, yeah, I'm going from left to right. So I am. It's a little easier for me because I'm both-handed. I'm ambidextrous, so I can roll both sides.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Very cool.
Every bunchero does. and sometimes they're just right-handed. So for me, it makes it a little easier. So here's what I'm doing. I'm just cutting here because the wrapper's too small. I won't dare smoke in this. I'm gonna be very honest. But
If you give
next
it-
time,
if you-
next time,
If
I'll
you give it
promise
to
I
me,
will smoke.
Luciano, I'll do the draw test.
This is almost the size of the shot, Miguel.
Yeah.
But at least you can see how the construction of a cigar works.
Yep.
So
That's
you know,
very
I mean,
impressive, though.
my
awesome.
challenge was to build a 50 gauge. I believe I was able to do that.
Think
Yep.
you accomplished it.
If you look at that right there, you can see how the leaves
Yeah.
are kind of how they're all kind of rolled together. That's what you should
Yeah,
see.
it's
when you look at
perfectly
the cigar.
bunched up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Fantastic.
there's a stem there. There's a stem there. Stems are important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
good.
Very
it
nice.
gives it
Very
rigidity
nice.
too. It gives it a like a spine.
Exactly.
Amazing, as always.
Now,
Nice
if we
job.
were in Cuba in 1920 or 1930, I'm gonna give you guys a little cigar word, lector. All right, lector.
right.
So not back in the day, and this is why we have cigars named Monte Cristo and Romeo y Julieta, because they had a lector who would sit at the front of the factory and he would either read the newspaper or,
Oh,
he,
yeah.
or he would read the Count of Monte Cristo or Shakespeare. And that's where those names came from, because of the lector would read to the callers. They were very educated people because they would hear all these things. Nowadays, you hear salsa music playing or bachata music. Maybe they have their own little ear pods in. The lector is no longer around, but that lector is a great part of cigar history. So if
That's awesome.
this was 1920 Cuba, we would have a lector reading to Luciano as he rolled.
Wow.
Right.
Well, very interesting.
amazing.
Thanks, Miguel. Good one on that one.
I knew about the person reading, but I didn't know that's how these names came about. That's very interesting.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I actually read about it, but I forgot.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those things in cigar history that, you know, it's the lector no longer really exists, but it does play an important part in cigar history, you know?
Right.
When did that pretty much stop? I mean, you always see these propaganda things back, you know, in the 50s, 60s, you know, where they were reading the Communist Manifesto or something to these people, you know?
In
So
Cuba,
when did that officially stop?
in Cuba probably stopped around in the 80s.
Oh, that late, huh?
But in Nicaragua and those places, you never had electors back then.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
We
Yeah,
might
we
launch
have,
a cigar called reggaeton or something.
Yeah. Nowadays, you hear a lot of rigatoni in those factories nowadays. That's
Rigatoni? With what? A little marinara sauce on it.
I haven't seen a pasta cigar yet.
There you go. Well, the Italians do have cigars.
It's
They have
an
those
impasta.
old
They do.
Toscanos, you know?
Yeah, the Toscano's
yeah.
actually pretty decent.
It's a dry cured cigar, which is very different than a premium cigar. The dry cured doesn't need humidification, and that's obviously.
You know why it's dry, right?
Huh?
So they can dunk it in the wine.
There you go. There you go. Well, you know they grow tobacco in the Benvenuto region in Italy. They grow tobacco, premium cigar tobacco in Italy.
Wow.
Well, that's
Okay.
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of nice mountain ranges.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that there is.
Yeah.
tobacco is essentially a weed. Tobacco is it's grown on every continent with the exception of Antarctica. Although I will tell you, I take a lot of pride in this, and all of us as Americans should. Tobacco is, and I may have said this in our last podcast, that tobacco is from the United States. It's from from the Americas. It's from South America. It traveled with the indigenous Incas and Aztecs and Mayans and the Tainos and the Arawak. It's spread all throughout the Americas before the Europeans came, and it is uniquely ours. It is uniquely American, just as corn is uniquely American. And we have some Italians here, right?
Yeah, I think a couple.
Just a few.
I don't want
At least four.
as a Mexican American, I always like to joke with my Italian friends. Obviously, red sauce, or what you guys call gravy, is
No.
Sauce.
Sauce.
or an old Italian once told me sauce.
Oh,
South.
Sauce.
salsa.
The sauce, the sauce. So, anyways, but I always joke with my Italian friends. I always say to them, look, you guys didn't get tomatoes until the 1500s. Tomatoes are native to Mexico. So, we helped the Italians create their most famous dish, for God's sake.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, but it took us to make that sauce, memorable.
And pasta is a Chinese invention.
And pasta is a Chinese. Hey, look, the Italians stole the pasta from China, stole the tomatoes from Italy, and made it some of the most exquisite cuisine in the world.
It's true.
And almost everybody loves Italian food, so that's
Absolutely.
Hey, Ronnie, we got Joe Nogara here, our brother, and he's saying that after listening to Monday night's program, I started removing the cellophane of a dozen of my cigars, Miguel.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's no good, right? You don't want the cellophane on them.
I'm not a fan of cellophane. I can't stand cellophane. But, if you go to Europe, it's a different culture in Europe. If you go to a cigar shop in London, the gentleman will have a suit on. He'll walk in the humidor with you. You say, hey, I'm looking for a Boulevard Bellicoso Fino. Maybe he'll grab the box and he'll fill them and find you one that feels just right. There isn't a lot of you touching the cigar. The American market is very different. The American market, that's why we cellophane everything. Guys go in there, they grab a handful, and do traveling across this big, big country with the humidity changes. And that's why cellophane is so popular. So in Europe, when they see a cigar with cellophane, because all the Cubans that have cellophane are machine made, and all the Cubans that are hand rolled don't have cellophane. So
very interesting.
And so in Europe, if they see a cigar with cellophane, they sometimes can think, oh, that must be a machine made cigar. And so it's just different cultures,
Do you think that's going to change?
Our whole humidor. I'm sorry.
Do you think that's going to change now because of the COVID, the virus, what's happening? Do you think more and more people go to this? No.
I don't think so. Look, in this country too, we have such big retailers out there. You have some of these big shops that have wine and liquor, and they'll say, hey, if I'm going to carry Crowned Heads or I'm going to carry Ace Prime, I need cellophane and I need a barcode on that cigar. So in this country, it's very different. And the Cubans are very resistant to cellophane. And I can tell you that Luciano one time did not cellophane his beautiful cigar, the Traveler. And at Crowned Heads, we have a cigar line called Las Calaveras, and we refuse to cellophane that cigar. But everything else is cellophane and barcoded. But those traditions die hard.
We changed that, Luciano. You know that, right?
Yep. The Luciano now has cellophane to protect the cigar in transit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. About our home humidors, though, should we remove the cellophane from all of them? I noticed different ideas about that. What's yours?
Removing cellophane from cigars?
In our home humidors.
For our
Oh,
setup.
Look, I'm the kind of guy that says if you're going to buy a handful of cigars, and Luciano have his opinion, we're all different. It's almost like how much does the wrapper play in the taste of a cigar? You'll get 20 answers, right? I believe that if you're going to smoke that cigar in 2 or 3 months, leave the cellophane on. Just leave it on because you don't know when you need to grab it, throw it in your pocket, or whatever it is. But if you are serious about aging your cigars, giving them time to rest, or you strictly maybe smoke at home, take the cellophane off. You don't want cellophane on a cigar. You want that cigar to breathe and marry with the cedar in your humidor. Look, cellophane is strictly for convenience. There's no benefit to cellophane.
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay. Nice. That's good.
Excellent.
That's a good advice.
Luciano, do you have an insight on that?
No, I agree. I mean, for me, I always, just like we talked about last Monday, you know, if you intend to smoke a cigar right away, you need to make sure that your cigar is properly humidified. So that's why we use humidors to humidify a cigar. So if you know that cigar travel, from somewhere to get to your house, let's say you order online or you bought in a brick and mortar, but you kept in your car for a few hours, you want to make sure you're smoking a cigar with the proper humidity. If you put that cigar in your humidor with the cellophane, it's going to take much longer for you to achieve the desired humidity in that cigar. So that's why, I always advise to remove the cello if you want to smoke that cigar right away, or if you want to age for a longer period of time, just like Miguel said, the same thing. Now, if you're not gonna smoke that cigar and you're gonna be moving the cigar around in your traveling humidor, or you're gonna be just kind of touching that cigar and moving around, keep the cello on, because otherwise you're gonna break that wrapper and it's gonna ruin your experience.
Gotcha.
It depends, depends on what you want to do with the cigar. If you want to smoke it right away, if you want to age it. So,
and if something else I want to point out too is that the cellophane today is better than they were using in the 80s and 90s. The cellophane today breathes a lot better than the cellophane back then. Sure. So it's not as bad as it used to be, but I'm still not a fan of cellophane. And I will tell you guys, 20 years in this business, I've never met a cigar maker, blender, that's ever liked cellophane.
Okay. What would be your thoughts on some of the cigars that come in like the cedar wrappers, or even like a tobacco leaf wrapper, like the leaf itself, like the cigar, the leaf comes in a tobacco leaf?
Well, I think that the cedar sleeves on a cigar is great because it imparts a great cedar aroma to a smoke, and it just has a great flavor profile. But part of that was to slide the cedar off. Right. Take a piece of the cedar, light the cedar to light your cigar. That was part of the culture behind that, Yeah. And so that was really why cedar was there. And cedar imparted a great flavor into a cigar. Because not back in the day, not all cigars were shipped in cedar, So now it's more of a marketing thing than anything else. The leaf itself, Island Jim, who's a good friend of mine, and he sells my cigars at his store in Pittsburgh. That was a unique thing that he did there. And I will tell you, let me tell you a quick little story. The first time he came out with that cigar, I'm in his store, right? And he hasn't really sold it to anybody yet. He says, "Hey, Miguel, I want you to try my new cigar." He gives it to me. It's the ugliest cigar I've ever seen in my life. I put it in my pocket, and I keep talking to him. He goes, "Miguel, you're going to smoke my cigar?" And I said, I'll smoke it later, Jim. I'll smoke it. He goes, "Give it to me." He takes it, he rips it open, and here's a super oily Maduro underneath this thing. And I just said, "Oh my God, it's replaced the cellophane." I think it's really neat. I don't know. It hasn't been around long enough to know if it's good for aging or whatever, but it does protect the cigar. And as far as marketing goes, it is super popular. It has a unique look to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah. When I first saw it, I thought it was like gimmicky. I said, "What the hell is this thing?" And I shied away from it. I wouldn't even bother trying. I said, "It's probably just some crappy cigar that they made it look really nice or cute, Yep. And I tried it, and I was very impressed with it.
Yeah, we had the Sumatra. It was fantastic.
I got to tell you a little story. A very popular cigar maker, Island Jim showed it to this guy, and he says, "Look, man, it's a gimmick. It may be popular for a month, but I don't think it's a big deal." And couple years later, he's joking with him. He goes, "What the fuck do I know? What the hell do I know?" That's one of the most popular cigars in the humidor nowadays. So it's. I'll be honest with you. This industry, you could argue that the culture of cigars go all the way back to the Taino Indians that were in the Caribbean, right? They were rolling leaves and they were smoking tobacco. The Tainos and the Arawak. So our industry goes back to before the Europeans even landed, right? And the funny thing is that still to this day, there's still innovation. There is still unique things that you can do to market and promote your cigar like the leaf. And I think that's very cool.
Yeah, that is
Right.
cool. So, and by the way, it does age well. I just smoked one that I had in my humidor for about a little over a year, and it was quite delicious.
Yeah, it's a great cigar.
It does improve.
One of our listeners just said that that some idiot actually smoked it with the leaf on. He didn't know anything.
Oh my God!
You think that's bad? Look, in all the years I've seen a guy light the cigar with the cedar on and a ribbon around the foot.
Oh,
You got to be kidding me! Like seriously, have you seen your own eyes?
I saw it with my own eyes.
Oh no!
How much crack did that person smoke?
I will tell you that I remember going to that guy, and because I was the third or fourth guy that went to him and said, hey, take that off, man. That's not how you smoke it. I went to the guy and I said, listen, man, I said, we're just here to help each other out. We all make these mistakes. And the guy says, you know what? He goes, I was wondering why it was burning more than everybody else's cigar. But it goes back to a lot of people are scared to ask questions.
Right.
And that's why what you guys do on this show is such a great thing, because you can teach people and share experiences that guys can learn. We're scared to ask for directions, for God's sake. They can go into a humidor and be educated just from watching your guys' show.
Nice.
An educated consumer is your
Thank
best consumer.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple.
Hey, Tiago, do you have any stories of when you won the NBA championship? You guys light up that kind of wonderful cigar that you smoke, and maybe some players are kind of lost. How do I like this thing? And
No, I think, when you win a championship, we have that, everyone want to light a cigar, and some of the guys that never smoked cigars before, right? So I remember being around the locker room and teaching them. First of all, they didn't know even how to cut a cigar or where to light it. So, and we didn't have a cutter. I remember we didn't have a cutter. So, I was like,
Nicaraguan way?
Screw that. I just bite it and light it, because all we had was the cigars there and a couple lighters, and we're one of those big ones, not like a good lighter, but it worked, and we had a great time.
The Bic
is. Can I tell you a secret? I don't know, Tiago, if I ever mentioned this to you. You probably noticed, but I only cut a cigar usually when I'm in front of someone. If I'm smoking by myself, I'll just bite it, because that's how we do it in Nicaragua. I mean, we just bite and smoke. I mean, it's too much work, like trying to find where the cutter is.
I will tell you guys, and Luciano's dead on. I've been in a factory where I break out my fancy cutter, and the blenders and the people there are laughing at us because they're like, "There's a cap. There's a cap. You just lick the cap and pinch it off, man."
Yeah, pinch it off. Okay.
And by the way, the Bic lighter is known as the Nicaraguan torch. Everyone in Nicaragua. we go down there with our fancy Zykars, and they're like, "What the hell is that thing, man?"
The American gringo coming down here showing us up. I know.
Only in America can we make lighters and cutters cost $1,000.
So a quick question for myself. I'm not an overly experienced cigar guy at all, but you look at the wine industry, you look at cigars, a lot of history, a lot of tradition. Who are some of the newer cigar guys who are like kind of bucking tradition, maybe doing something unique, something the old timers would be like, "What the hell are you doing?" But it's turned out to be really innovative and cool.
There's a very famous cover of Cigar Press magazine that came out, I want to say 8, 9, 10 years ago. And it had on the cover Dion from Illusione, had Jonathan from Drew Estate. It had John Huber from Crown Heads. It had Pete Johnson from Tatuaje. And it had, I think, a few other people on there as well. And those guys were the disruptors of the industry. Those were the new guard. There are some young guys now, Dapper Cigars, Skip Martin. There's some great young guys, Mo from Patina Cigars. There's some great young guys that are being very innovative and new, and they're the next generation. But there are a history of great cigar makers that are no longer with us. Old Man Padron, Old Fuente, Old Man Oliva, and before them, there were legends. And even within the industry, we have legends that maybe people aren't familiar with. Nestor Plasencia, who is the god of growing tobacco in Central America. A lot of people don't know who he is.
I love his cigars.
Yeah, well,
fantastic cigars.
His cigars are great, but he's been growing tobacco for everybody else. You've smoked, people say, hey, I've never smoked a Nestor Plasencia. I say, have you ever smoked a cigar? Well, yeah, you smoked a Nestor Plasencia because a lot of our tobacco comes from Nestor. You know what I mean?
If you have Steli in any cigar, because Steli is small, and everybody else, you can find a land available today. I can tell you that if you smoke any cigar that has a Steli in it, chances are 50% at least that you smoke Plasencia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or Condega.
But
or Honduras.
But the average consumer out there probably is not too familiar with Nestor Plasencia. And these guys are the people that the cigar makers look up to. These guys who, there's a lot of people that have passed on. And
Arsenio Ramos.
Ernesto Perez Carrillo, who's still with us
Ernesto
today.
Carrillo, Padrino.
I will tell you guys, I'm a baseball fan. I don't know too much about basketball. I leave that to Tiago. I'm a baseball fan. But
I know you're a Yankee fan. I know
Cincinnati.
No.
I know you're a Yankee fan.
Cincinnati.
But
Cincinnati.
it's like asking the kids today, Mike Trout, Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter. The truth is, before those guys, there were so many great legends, Babe Ruth. There's so many of these great legendary guys that some people forget about, and that's exactly how the cigar industry is. There are legends in this business that consumers aren't familiar with, but mean a lot to us that are in the industry.
Exactly. Well, it depends how far you want to take your hobby.
Oh, of course.
What's
You
this?
guys know this? This is this is sort of will be equivalent to this is actually a Canadian late harvest
Is it
dessert wine.
Yeah, that's a sweet wine, no?
Yeah, it is not as sweet as a port, but this is an amazing drink for cigars.
I've
love.
never had that. No, I never heard of it.
The French makes the Sauternes, right, which is they let the grapes rape in a vineyard. So when they harvest, it's a late harvest. So the grapes are already sweet. So it's basically fermenting in a plant, which remember me of the Tajinos, Miguel, who used to kind of wait the tobacco dry in the plant before they remove the leaves. That's why the Cuban tobacco was known as Negro Tobacco Cubano, because the leaves, they darken really, really fast in the plant. And then
how long did you let that happen, Luciano, before the plant actually kind of dies?
Well, that's like the Amarone too. Amarone, the Italian, it's a late harvest. They let that ripen on the vine.
On the vine,
that's right.
It's
basically a bacteria process. Yeah.
And you guys, here's another history thing for cigars is when the Europeans encountered the Taínos smoking, they got the verbiage confused. We know this. It's part of history, is that the cigar they actually smoked, the Indians referred to it as the cohiba. And the art of smoking was cigar. And the Europeans got it confused. And so a cohiba literally to the Taínos meant a cigar. And cigar meant basically meant the art of smoking. So
the act of smoking.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Wow.
And so that's
Miguel,
why
you're an encyclopedia of information, man. I'm telling you. Wow. Wait.
And what's Miguel, we're gonna have to talk a little bit more later on when you have some time,
Yeah.
we got some interesting shows coming up. We'd love to have you on. With
Absolutely.
You'll become our historian.
Well,
Yeah.
tobacco is an amazing plant, and literally at one time it was worth its weight in gold at one time. And
Well, actually, it was a currency.
It was a
We
currency.
used it as currency in this
it was the
country.
currency. And what's amazing is that in the colonial times, everyone was growing tobacco. It's such a part of our culture. It's such a ingrained in the American spirit and history, and we seem to forget that. And when I see these people
And they're trying to stamp it out now.
and I say, man, this is our heritage. This is
There you
part
go.
of who we are. But so that's why we have a cigar called Cohiba, and there's a Native American head on it because it represents the Taino Indians. And here's another little thing for you. There's a cigar line from Cuba called Kawaba. Kawaba was actually a bush.
Kawaba.
Kawaba. Kawaba. And the Kawaba.
If you hold on a minute, Miguel, I'm going to get my pad and pencil.
You're right.
Bob, you can listen to the show later on. You can re-listen to the show later on.
There you go. But the Kawaba.
Is there going to be a pop quiz later?
Yeah.
Yes.
Your answers are due by Friday.
Frank will bring the quiz on.
There you go. There you go.
I have to stump you guys.
So the
Miguel,
Kawaba.
one last thing.
Plant. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish up.
The Kawaba is a little plant that grows in Cuba, and the indigenous Tainos would light that plant on fire, and they would light their Cohibas from that plant. And that's why there's a cigar brand called Kawaba in Cuba to honor that tradition.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Miguel, you are a wealth of knowledge, man.
I'm
I
telling
love
you,
it.
man.
Encyclopedia by Miguel.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
telling you.
awesome.
Absolutely.
One last question.
You
Miguel,
are the
before-
Google of the cigar industry.
Cigarpedia.
Yeah. Don't ask
Wanna know
Google,
something?
ask Miguel.
No kidding, man.
Idiot savant, as my wife calls me.
All right, Mr. Idiot to you. There are a lot of cigars called Cohiba, a lot of different labels.
Yep.
Which one really is
The
the
original.
true Cohiba?
The original.
The original Cohiba was rolled for Fidel Castro.
Right.
That was a cigar that was rolled exclusively for him. Avelina Lara is the one that's very famous for partaking. in
Man,
the
you
beginning.
know that shit. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You're right.
Avelina Lara was the one who was a cigar maker who would make that cigar, and he would actually sleep with the cigars to make sure nobody poisoned the cigars to hurt
Yes.
Fidel.
Wow.
And so that eventually, when Fidel took over the country, he would have Cohibas made just to hand out as diplomatic gifts to people, to Russia and stuff. Eventually, that became a brand for Cuba, and they actually have a factory in Cuba called El Laguito that for many years only made Cohiba. Now other cigars are made in there. They wound up replacing that Cohiba with a line called Trinidad in Cuba, and that became the diplomatic gift. Eventually, that became a regular production Cuban cigar as well. But that's the original Cohiba that comes from Cuba. The
Now, did that have a different? Was that a band cigar when he did that for
no.
Fidel?
No, they were originally naked, and then
Okay.
they eventually put a band. And actually, you could look up old Cohibas, and they had a very different band that they have today. I would tell you the Cohiba band has gone through at least 20 different versions from where it began being banned to where it is today in Cuba. They've had about 20 renditions of that band, and it has gone through and it only came in one size originally. It came in what they call the Funadore, which they call Lancero. In the factory in Cuba, it's actually called a Laguito number 1. The Laguito number 1 is the factory term for a Lancero.
Okay.
And that's where that size really became popular because Fidel would smoke Lanceros.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
basically
always thought he smoked like a Toro or Churchill, a bigger smoke.
that was his cigar, was
Yeah.
that Lancero. Yeah.
You know what this is here? So this is a Criollo. Criollo 2012. And this is actually a Costa Rican.
Oh,
Criollo.
Costa Rican, you guys.
Yeah, this is Costa Rican Criollo. But you know what? It's amazing when you get to the agriculture deal. So I know this leaf is perfect, and perfect cured and perfectly fermented. And why I know it? See the tip of the leaf right here.
Uh-huh.
So can you see that the tip of the leaf is?
It's got a little gray tip on it.
Yeah, it's a little lighter, right? Than
A
everything
little
else.
lighter, hair lighter.
Yep.
So when you are in the fields and you want to know when it's time to harvest, to start doing the first cuts, you got to see that the tip of the leaf, it's getting a little brownish.
Okay.
When you see the tip of the leaf like this, it's time to cut.
Okay.
Oh,
Is
okay.
that
Wow.
because it's
So,
starting
and this
to
is
dry?
a very, yeah, this is a very Cuban tradition. They only cut the leaf if they see the tip of the leaf uh, getting brownish.
Okay.
Then they cut the leaf, and then when you go to the process, you see exactly the difference. So you know by the way, by just looking at the tip of the leaf that this was done right. But this is a Criollo 2012, beautiful
That's a hell of a
Wow.
Criollo,
leaf.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Beautiful
and
leaf.
look at the elasticity.
Yeah, I'm looking. I thought it was a piece of vinyl when you took it out.
Oh
That's
wow.
unbelievable. Look at that.
Look at the oils,
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
the elasticity. This is
Wow.
Jeez.
That's
believe
amazing.
it or not, this looks like a wrapper, right?
Yeah.
Miguel, don't you think this can be
Yeah,
used
it's-
as wrapper?
It's wrapper quality for sure.
Is wrapper quality, but this is binder, man.
Wow.
That's
This is a
binder.
binder.
Holy cow.
It hasn't been deveined
Why?
yet, but
Now,
look at
why
this.
would that be a binder?
Well, it was actually prepared to be a binder. A binder. So I'm gonna make it very simple, and Miguel can explain because he's a wealth of knowledge. So whatever I can use as wrapper, basically goes as binder. Like to be in a Cuban way. I mean, if Cubans they look at the leaf and they say, there's some stains here, there's some stains there. Because if you look at this leaf, there's definitely some stains in it, right?
The spotting.
it's
Yeah.
Like a little
There's
blemish.
some spots here, there. So
Would that be sold as a
Yeah.
second?
no, not a second at all. This is a first grade leaf, man. This is a triple
Okay.
weight leaf right here. This is expensive tobacco, but again, it's just not good for wrapper to their standards.
So
I
it
would
would-
use it as a wrapper.
It would be a little bit cheaper per pound than a wrapper.
Yeah,
Okay.
very little. And you can see, if you can see, it's a pattern. If you look at this one here, well, this one, the tip is off, but same thing, man. Same thing. This is another.
You can see the
Oh,
frog
wow.
tobacco there.
Yeah,
Jim.
Frog legs. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, frog legs.
Huh. Okay.
So that's
This
going to be
beautiful
used
color.
as a filler.
That's
filler.
a filler
But
leaf.
this
What
is
we
a binder.
what we call tripa.
You're right.
Yeah, but this one, believe it or not, is also a binder, Miguel.
Yep.
It's just
What do you call it, Miguel?
Tripa.
Tripa.
tripa. Tripa means
But that's like
filler.
Italian, only that's for
Yeah,
intestine.
except we eat the tripa.
Yeah,
Well, we roll with tripa. Tripa means basically the long leaf, the long
Yeah.
fallen leaves.
Okay.
Yep. So
Tripa.
sometimes you'll see a cigar. They'll say these are made from 100% tripa, meaning 100% long filler.
Okay.
Tripa.
Well,
Okay.
Miguel, we're definitely going to bring you back on because, again, I know the audience absolutely loved your history, your knowledge.
But they're all glued to you right now. I mean, everybody's listening here very carefully.
Well, I would tell those guys, thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying the time together here. And I would tell them, hey, if you get an opportunity, get out, buy a Crowned Head cigar, buy an Ace Prime cigar, try out our blends, and it means the world to us.
Absolutely. Buy the
Thank you.
best.
Yeah.
Thank you. Top notch. Top notch.
Yes.
Tiago, anything else that you can tell us? Any other basketball team stories there by any chance before we let you go?
No, I think last week I watched the Last Dance, and it
Yes.
was just impressive to see, just like how Miguel say about the legends of cigars. MJ is the legend of basketball for me, and
Yeah.
when I started
yeah.
to watch basketball, and it's just impressive to see him in a locker room environment, smoking a cigar before the game and talking about trash talk. One of the best scenes in that documentary. So, you just
It was.
see that guy in that environment, the way he competes. Of course, we talk about basketball, cigars, and all that, but just a great documentary to watch.
Have you
Great.
ever?
So you're working
Yeah.
on your trash talk too, huh?
I was never a trash talker. I always like it was more quiet in the court. I was very focused because that's the way I play. I didn't want to, lose my focus trying to talk to people. And also trash talk wasn't good against me because I would not give them any space to talk to me.
You don't need the trash talk. You let your skill talk.
Michael Jordan, they say he smoked a cigar before every home game.
Yeah.
And here's a little story from Mike Condor, one of the co-owners of Crown Heads. Back in the day, he got to meet Michael Jordan with one of his retailers, and they're sitting there smoking in the arena back in the office area, and they met Michael for maybe 20 minutes. They're all lighting up, smoking cigars. Michael has to get up and leave. And so one of the security guys comes in and says, "Where'd Michael go?" He said, "Oh, he left." He goes, "Well, put out your cigars. Only people are allowed to smoke only when Michael's in the room."
Oh, wow. Wow. Talk about respect.
Wow.
Very. See, Tiago, I know probably at home games, everybody wants to rush home and get out of the way and stuff to their families. But when the team's on the road, what do you guys basically do? Do you go out the night before, or after a game?
Yeah, I mean,
Wait a
you
minute.
basically can do whatever
First,
you
ask him
want.
if his wife is listening, and
Nah. You can do basically whatever you want. You can go to a restaurant, you can go out, you can go to clubs. You just got to be professional the next day and play.
Do you have
Because
a time the guys got to get back to the room?
nah,
Curfew? No
nah,
curfew?
nah,
no curfew.
nothing.
Wow.
That's what I said. You got to be professional. You want to be a basketball player, you want to be good, you got to play well the next day. So
That's your
you
job.
got you understand. And when you're young, you kind of like do it, but then later on in your career, you already know what you can do and what you can't.
Yes.
Gets a little
Especially
bit harder
older.
as you get older.
Yeah, it does.
Thanks, Tiago. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Any last words, Luciano, in regards to ACE itself?
Well, just inviting all of you and all your audience to come and watch us on Thursday,
Yes.
7 o'clock Central Time. Go to our Facebook page. That's going to be a Facebook Live with Rocky Patel, Mike Condor, myself, Miguel, and who else, Miguel?
Well,
Is John coming? I don't know.
on Thursday, it's just going to be you, me, Rocky Patel. Maybe we can try to wrap Tiago into that.
That would
There
be
you
great
go.
to have Tiago, man. Can you do it, Tiago?
I gotta text my wife to see if she allows me.
He's got a honeydew list, baby.
She's already waiting me. Like, where you at? Yeah, I'm still here, honey.
Yeah, all right, Tiago. We'll let you go. Miguel, thank you. Luciano, again, thank you very much for bringing the crew on.
Thank you, guys.
And,
Yes, thank you.
I know the crowd, just looking at Facebook and all, people really appreciate what you did for us tonight.
And again, tell the audience Thursday night to listen
7
to the
o'clock.
show.
Yep. Yeah.
7 o'clock, right, guys?
I Bob dot keep the lights on. That's our Facebook.
Mhm.
Yeah, just
Okay.
just find it on
And-
Facebook,
And
you'll be able to watch it.
that's 7 p.m. Eastern
Time.
time. Central. Okay.
Central,
Great.
8 p.m. Eastern.
We'll try to find that
Okay,
event
we'll
and
be
share
there.
it
We'll
and
be
share it
there.
on our page for too.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Folks, that was an episode. I hope that you truly all enjoyed and learned a lot about this cigar industry.
I know I did.
Yeah.
Miguel was
Man, oh,
really
man.
a professor.
Yeah, very
And,
good.
You know, we have a newbie here, a true pipe smoker in Garrick, and I think you learned a lot about cigars tonight.
Oh my gosh, I've learned more about cigars in the last hour and a half than I've ever known. It was incredible.
I think a lot of people learned a lot tonight.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Oh, yeah.
was an incredible show.
Definitely.
I'm so happy to have such masters for teachers. I mean, for sure.
What's really cool is to see somebody so passionate about what they do,
Yeah.
and that just makes it exciting. And to learn about how it's done, to watch it deconstructed and put back together, I've never seen it.
It's fascinating.
It is
Truly
amazing.
every time he does it, we learn a little bit more, a little bit more.
I think we've seen him do it maybe a dozen times, and it still intrigues me to no end. I'm glued to it. You know.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
So
It really
when
is.
are we taking a trip to Honduras?
No, that would
soon
be
as possible.
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, sorry,
But
sorry,
Honduras
sorry.
is Kathy 1901.
Yeah.
He has Honduras factories, and folks, I know we ran really overboard.
Hopefully,
And I know-
everybody enjoyed the show and didn't tune us off because
Well-
it went overtime. But
We do have one segment that people always look forward to. and we're going to do it fast.
Oh
Frank.
yeah.
We're
Where's
gonna
the
do it
pipe?
fast.
Where's the pipe?
Yeah, could you grab the pipe right?
We're gonna do it quick.
We're
gonna
going to
give
do
you
it
guys-
fast. Folks, it's Stump the Chooch time with Cousin Frank. And
Yeah, that's good. That's
we
it.
are giving away a pipe if you do get the correct answer. And what it is Frank will ask us Chooches some questions so you'll understand what's going on. And then he'll ask you, the
AOC.
audience, to take a look, answer on Facebook, and we're all watching for answers. We're going to make it real fast, 30 seconds. We can't go too much longer because of the show has gone overtime. So we appreciate you sticking on board. So Frank,
All right, here you
stump
go,
the
guys.
Chooches.
Here's
Here it is,
here's a
Max.
question for you guys. You know how I love history. So today, in 320, in the year 325.
BC or what?
Oh, that's the movie with Raquel Welch when she was wearing that little short bikini.
AD. No, it's AD.
So, 2000 BC.
On this date, what council is inaugurated by Emperor Constantine in Nicaea?
Say that again.
Yeah.
Wow.
What council is inaugurated by Emperor Constantine in Nicaea or Nicaea or something like that?
Okay.
Nicea.
Go ahead.
The Nicene Council?
Oh, that was a good guess. I like that guess. You would think that would make sense. Actually, it's the
We brought in the ringer.
I know you did the Ecumenical Council.
Oh,
Which is
Man, I was on the top of my tongue.
Yeah. I
just
knew
couldn't
it
get the
was.
words
Well,
out
the
fast
Ecumenical
enough. I was
Council is
distracted.
basically like a council. It's more like a religious council.
yep.
So
All right, next.
Okay.
next one. Who became in 1674? Who became Poland's first king? 1674. On this day, he was crowned. His last
King
name.
Knockwurst?
His
Was it
last name.
King Knockwurst.
I'm going to give you a clue. His last name has a ski in it.
Oh wow! Oh, that's
And his
Well,
first
you gave me
name
the
is
answer.
Kashmir
first
Pulaski.
name is John.
Pulaski.
John Laskiski.
John Sobieski becomes Poland's first king.
Wow. Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
The first council of
Next
Nicaea.
one.
I thought it was
All
pierogi.
right.
Final question for us. and
Final.
wasn't it-
I don't know. I contest. Wasn't it King Pierogi?
No, it was King Farouk.
King Farouk.
Freddie in the American name.
All right. On this day in 1775, what was the first state to become the first colony to declare its independence? Rather, it was the first colony to declare its independence.
Delaware?
Pennsylvania.
Boston. Boston.
No, Boston's a city.
Massachusetts. No, huh?
Virginia.
Virginia.
What state am I living in?
North Carolina.
There
Really?
we go. There we
Wow.
go.
Interesting. All right.
Golly.
All right. So that was a quick one, folks. I hope you understand the rules and
These
the.
were tough ones tonight,
Very
Frank.
good, Frank. Very good.
Yeah.
So again,
Golly.
we have a fantastic pipe from RNA Treasures, one of our other sponsors down in Tampa, Florida.
In fact, I'm smoking one of their pipes tonight.
That's a big one.
This is a big boy. Yeah. This
Got some meat.
was my first smoke in this pipe. Randy,
Randy.
Anthony and Randy, great pipe, man. I'm glad I got this from you guys. Very
All
good.
right. So, folks, go for it.
All right, here we go. This is to stump the audience. On this date in 1774, just a year prior to North Carolina becoming the first colony to declare its independence, Parliament passes the Coercive Acts to punish the colonists for their increasingly anti-British behavior. What do they close?
The 7-Eleven.
1774. Bob, it's a little before the invention of 7-Eleven. Parliament closes.
Well, you got 30 seconds on that one.
All right, Parliament passes the coercive acts to punish the colonists for their increasingly anti-British behavior.
Okay.
I'm looking at Facebook.
Does Parliament close?
Okay, the clock is ticking.
This act closes something.
So this is the third week in a row we're trying to get a pipe to you guys, and we started off with very weak, easy questions, but as you can see, Cousin Frank is doing you in. He doesn't want to give this pipe away.
No, he doesn't. He wants this pipe himself.
Next week, if we don't get this one, make it a little bit easier. I got a box of pipes. I like to
listen. Okay, listen. I'm going to give him one other clue. Listen, I'm going to give them one other clue, but they have to respond quickly. They close a port. What port?
Oh,
Port Royale.
Anybody with some history, for God's sake, would know this.
Wow.
Port of
Where
New
are
York.
the? Is
Port
everyone?
Newark.
Oh, wait a minute. It's
Port
for the
Newark.
people. It's for the people.
wait, did they say port?
It's for the people.
Port Newark.
All right, we got an answer here. Quarantine Act allow records to stay in private American homes. All right, but that's we got an answer here. But the Quarantine Act allowed redcoats to stay in private American homes.
That's a
No,
Who said anything
That's
about
not
the
closing anything.
No, they closed something.
They had to
Exactly.
close
Yeah, but this
something.
was not the Quarantine Act.
No,
This
it's
was
Ronnie can't read. It's quartering act.
coercive.
Quartering Act.
Yeah. I think it was Taco Bell they closed, but I could be wrong.
All right. Well, it looks like no one wins another pipe.
That's it. Another one.
The Boston Port Act.
No, it's actually Boston, the port of Boston.
Oh,
was everybody?
But they came in too late.
Hey, listen.
Too late.
What happened? They threw a party. What party did they throw?
The Tea Party.
That was 76,
75.
73.
1774.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we have a winner.
No, we don't. They came in too late.
Oh, you're going to tell Luciano that?
Oh, no, Luciano, you got it. You got it.
Luciano's the winner.
Luciano got it. And he gets him out of Knob Creek.
There you go, folks. The stump the chooch. And Cousin Frank really stumped us big time.
But Luciano got the answer. So
Luciano says the second pipe he will not receive.
What, he wanted another pipe?
Yeah.
No, Luciano didn't get one.
A few weeks ago, he got the answer.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Luciano. We owe you a pipe now, 2 pipes.
Yeah, but he's a cigar smoker, But that's all right. We'll get it down to you, buddy. All right. Well, anyway, folks, thank you for staying a little bit overtime for us.
But wait, I don't think to our guests.
Oh, it's
You
good.
didn't even get to talk.
I can come back.
Oh, no.
Well,
come
you know
on.
what? Since you have it, tell us a little bit about the Kenosha Pipe Club, how you started, what's going
man.
on with that.
Yeah.
Kenosha Pipe
People
Club.
are still listening. man.
We're in Kenosha, Wisconsin, just north of the Illinois border. So Wisconsin's open. So come on up.
There you go.
Come on up and have your old fashioned of freedom up in Wisconsin. Join us.
Crazy clothes and anything goes.
Yeah, right. Now Wisconsin's not quite open yet, so they're still figuring that out, just like everybody else is. But no, we started the Pipe Club I think 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. In a stroke of brilliance, did it right in the middle of winter, which was not bright because we have nowhere to smoke inside in Wisconsin. But no, we meet typically the first Thursday of the month. But with things being shut down now for a while, I was up against personal stuff last year. We have a Facebook page, the Kenosha Pipe Club. Come check us out. I'm gonna put up a poll. what makes the most sense for the most people. So
Wednesday night, I know, is a great night.
Wednesday night is a really good night for you
Wednesday
guys,
night.
and I
Don't
like
you have
Wednesday
the
night.
aluminum pole, it's like
The feats of strength.
the feast of strength.
So no, I mean
Festive.
Festivus. Wednesdays are awesome for the Cuban experience going down there. It's fantastic. Love doing that. Would love to do something a little more local in Kenosha, or we wouldn't be the Kenosha Pipe Club anymore, really. Yeah, come check out our page, the Kenosha Pipe Club. We're on Facebook. I'm going to put up a survey for what makes the most sense for the most people. We want to get this back kind of fired back up again. We got a few core guys, but it would be nice to actually get some solid turnout again, and especially once the quarantine lifts, to be able to go support some of our local establishments. We had a really nice arrangement with a craft brew place in Kenosha, Rustic Road. They hosted us every the first Thursday of the month. They were fantastic. They're still kicking. They're doing great. So yeah, it's just a place for pipe aficionados, cigar smokers, anybody who's interested. The really cool thing about pipe cigars as well, I've met more just genuine, intelligent, just great people around over a pipe, with a cigar, over a whiskey, scotch, whatever it is you like to drink. And it's been fantastic. Met some amazing folks. And
Wow.
it just feels like now more than ever, it would be great to be able to sit down face to face, just enjoy that time together. And that's really what it's about. And
Is there an application online that they can?
Nope, no application.
No application.
You know what?
Look at
No
this.
fees,
No
just hang
fees.
out.
They'll have
Just hang
anybody
out.
in this club.
And the cool thing is, you spark up a pipe, you smoke a cigar, but especially a pipe. I've had more folks come and like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of my dad, of my grandpa, whatever. And it's a conversation starter. And if you've never smoked a pipe before, you've never smoked a cigar, I've got some. Come talk to me. Come meet up. And anyone, if my gosh, you see the passion about these guys that talk about cigars. Man, we would love to talk about it, get you interested, get you hooked. First one's free, baby.
Oh,
But,
Dangle the carrot.
but where there's a few of us, we hang out in Kenosha, and we're out and about. If you see us, come talk to us. Love to hear from you.
can I join?
No.
I wouldn't take
Sure.
him either.
I would. I wouldn't join any club that had me as a member anyway.
Everybody, no Italians.
Frank, take care of this guy. Eh?
But no, come find us on Facebook. Message me through the Facebook page. Love to talk to you. It's a good time. There's some great places in Kenosha, thereabouts, and we'd love to meet new folks. So
Awesome. Again, Garrett Goldberg, president of the Kenosha Pipe Club. Good people up there. Definitely worth your trip, and good hanging people. Like Gary said, smoking a cigar, smoking a pipe. There's so many great conversations you can have in the tobacco world.
Yes, sir.
And with that, folks, we're going to bid you a farewell.
I thought we were doing
Thank
a
you.
marathon.
Yeah, no.
24 hours.
24 hours. Send your money right away.
That's called a
We'll
telephone.
answer the phones personally.
That's a
God told
telephone.
me that Ronnie needs a check.
There you go. Thank you, folks.
There's a new
again.
Ferrari I want, so just send me the cash.
All right. Frank, we're going to let you go. Garrick, thanks a lot for joining us on the show. Sorry that it was a little shorter than expected.
It was
But,
Shorter than expected.
Well, we
For
would
me.
like to have him a little bit
yeah.
longer.
Well,
But
no, we're going to still talk. He's not going home yet.
Anyway, once again, folks, thank you so much. Kyle, thanks for doing all the work behind the scenes. And till next week, you catch us live. If not, catch our other shows. And don't be a chooch. Anyway, everybody.